Hello.
Hi, Shubham. It's audible?
Hello, Sun.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay,
It's audible.
so no problem, no problem. Yeah, so guys, let's get started. So as of now, we completed near to the question number 8, and we were trying to understand what do you understand from platform. But some of the really good questions are coming as part of the interview. Like they will simply ask you what kind of class loaders are available as part of the core Java. So this is coming under the MVC, no, no, JVM. Okay, so whenever you,
JVM.
yeah. So whenever you having the interview question, definitely they are asking what kind of class loaders are there, and you need to tell the name. Then you need to let them know what exactly the functionality there as part of the class loader. So this is the one of the most important question, and specifically in the product-based companies, they are asking such kind of questions. So as part of class loader, even on the very first day, Nana said that like bootstrap class loader, extension class loader, and the application class loader. Now we need to understand what do you mean by bootstrap class loader. So we know whenever the system is getting boot, right, some particular classes need to be available. So here such kind of classes which are really needed to be loaded at the booting time, like you can understand the booting of that particular application. So let me read it, you will get the more visibility. But this is the one of the subsystem of your JVM. Okay guys, so just read it. The class loader is a subsystem of the JVM which is used to load the class files. Okay, whenever you run the Java program, it loaded first by the class loader, and there are three built-in class loaders in the Java. First of all, bootstrap class loader. This is the first class loader, which is the super class of the extension class loader. Means this is the super one and this is the blue one, right? So like this, you can see it is the super class. Means this is the highest priority one. So this is the super class of the extension class loader. It looks the rt.jar file. So guys, I hope so you guys know the rt.jar file. Where it is available, let me show you. Okay, so we having the rt.jar file which is having the documentation also. So you need to know where your rt.jar file is there. So core Java, here you will have the Java. So what is happening sometimes now, you are getting installed the 32-bit software, even you are downloading 64-bit software, but sometimes it's getting installed the 32-bit software as well. So that you need to verify. Okay, so I'm coming to Java. In Java, you have JDK. In JDK, you have the one rt.jar file. So it's available. Actually, we have the resource file here. Here also we have the rt.jar file. Actually, this is we are using for the documentation purpose. I hope so, guys, you know about it, right? RT. Anybody remember where exactly the rt.jar file is available? rt.jar file. We having one
I think bin folder. No, I think lib folder.
list folder.
JRE.
No, it's
JRE
not.
maybe.
No, it's not having the
No,
rt.jar
inside
file
JRE, I think so.
inside.
JR, JRE, JRE.
Come to the
Inside
JDK.
JRE, I think so.
JDK, then
Yeah, I do.
I know this resource folder. I think so. I have extracted also on that day, right? So it's having the rt.jar file possibly. No, this is the documentation actually, which is, it means you guys are simply looking into the thing now. Whenever you're opening the Eclipse, you are loading some particular class. You're not getting some documentation, right? While you are trying to load the class, that particular Spring class or something like that, right? So that point of time, you having this sources.java file actually. This is the one source.zip file. So this you need to attach with your Eclipse, so then you will be able to see the documentation. I hope so you are aware about that. But we having rd.jar file. I don't remember exactly where it is available, but yeah, it's a one of the most important file. Without that, the things are not going to be proceed. It's in GRE? No, it may not be in GRE, right? Okay, I will check and I will let you know. No problem at all. But this is the one of the means if anybody will ask you what exactly the use of bootstrap class loader, you can simply say the rt.jar file. Okay, which is the one of the most important file which need to be loaded as part of what? As part of the bootstrap class loader. Okay, and which contain all the classes of Java Standard Edition like a java.lang package. So one of the most important thing, guys, so one of the interview question, what is the default package is being followed in terms of Java? So java.lang, you're not explicitly mentioning the package in terms of java.lang. Even if you see the class kind of variable, the integer data type, whatever the things you are doing, everything is coming from the lang package. So this is the default package which we are never mentioning, and it is being followed in the java.lang package. Then we have the networking package which is known as java.lang, but this is not the default. Only lang package is the default one. I hope so you are aware about. Most of the time we are using java.util package. Okay, so the most frequent used package are the java.lang, and after that java.util package is there. All the collections are available as part of java.util package. IO package, what exactly we having? All the buffer reader, string kind of operations, okay, file read, write, everything. Java.sql for the JDBC kind of operation. So rt.jar file is getting loaded. So now you need to remember whenever interviewer will ask what kind of class loaders are there. We have bootstrap class loader, we have extension class loader, and we have system, or we can say application. So if you read the this statement itself, it's application related file. It's extension related file. What kind of extension? Your some of the jar file is available inside the bin folder. Those particular things need to be loaded. You have one major jar file which is not that rt.jar file. So expect rt.jar file. Rest of the file is being uploaded as part of extension class loader, and this is specific to your class which is you are using as part of your application. You got my point, guys? What I'm trying to say. So you are mentioning the path, right? You are mentioning the system path. You are mentioning the application path. You are mentioning the class path. Those are nothing but those are being uploaded as part of the class loader. You guys are working on the Spring nowadays, and you may have seen the Bean Factory, XML class path, Bean Factory, right? Application context and file system application context. Those nothing but the this because of this loader only you are able to create such kind of context as part of your Spring framework. Okay, so here you will talk about the architecture file is being loaded. Now come to the extension class loader. Extension class loader is saying it's a child class of the bootstrap class loader. Okay, so it's of the system class loader. Okay, it's load the jar files located in this location, home location. So home is nothing but the GRE, and GRE having the live and extensive. So let me show you here. You can visit the GRE and it's having live. So all those libraries are being uploaded as part of your extension class loader. Why exactly extension class loader? Because those are not exactly the jar files only. If you see the you having the properties files also, you have the src file also, different kind of format text files also. So many kind of files are available here. So different see this is the article file is here.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is the
you
rt.jar
said
file.
that.
So yeah, so only this jar file is being loaded as part of your what to say bootstrap class loader, but rest of the jar files are not being loaded. Let me come to the lib. Here there is no such kind of jar file. See, but it's having the jar file in
But
terms
I
of
said
the
that.
GRE only. Yeah, the GRE only having the rt.jar file. This is the rt.jar file. This is
If
the
it is
rt.
like if it's not given like the RT jar, then it will be not affected now because in my system it shows only the RT.
That's fine. That's fine. Extension you have not enabled actually. You need to click here, view, and you need to say the file extension, file name extension. So I am
Okay.
showing the hidden file also. I'm showing the extension also. So if I will do this like this, it will not show you. It will show you only RT like this. See, are you able to
Yeah.
see only RT? So I'll always try to have the
Mm-hmm.
extension because it will provide you more visibility. Because whenever I'm working on any of the system, definitely I will have different kind of files. So I need to check. Suppose I was working on this Amazon, okay, Amazon based services I'm working. So we have the format of PPK format, and we having one of the file which is known as the PAM format. So both having a different format of the file. So I need to check the extension because both will say there's a private putty here, it's known as the PM file. But definitely we are not more considering this type. We are more considering about the extension. So better to have extension .zip file, .ppk file, .epub file. See, this is the EPUB file, right? Those kind of things we need to observe. So better to have extension. Okay, guys. So you got the visibility. So in even in the rt.jar file will be loaded with the help of bootstrap. Now come to the system and application jar file. So this is the child class of the extension. So see, one of the super class is this, then this class, and then this class. Got the visibility, guys? And always you are going to tell this story. Okay, this is the extension class loader, is the super class of the system application class loader. Okay, bootstrap class loader is the super class of the extension class loader. Like this kind of you need to give them theory so they will understand. Okay, you know something. Okay, so this is the highest one, then this is the below one, and this is the last one. Okay, this is the one of the super class. So it's a multi-level inheritance, if you understand, right? It's a multi-level, not a multiple. There is a difference between multiple or multi-level. So how the things are working in terms of the class path? You are setting the path, you are setting the class path. So I hope so, guys, you have set the class path as part of your command prompt. If you are doing Windows R and you are doing CMD, so here you are setting some path actually. So
Yes.
I have set it some path as part of my system. So I need to check that path. So I'm saying path and I'm checking the see. I'm able to get the path here, right? You guys are able to see? So there is a different way to show that things as
Yes,
part of.
yes.
Let me make it larger actually. Now are you able to see? See, you need to use echo command. And suppose I would like to check the Java home path. Java. So you need to write the same thing, Java underscore home, and then you need to mention this symbol. It will show you the Java home path, right? So I need to check the Maven path, then percentage Maven. So Maven, I have given my Maven home. Okay, Maven underscore home. So if you will do like this, but you need to mention not the dollar symbol, it will be percentage symbol actually. So in Windows it's different, in Linux it's different actually. Okay. If we talk about the Linux environment, there will be such different kind of setup. Like you may have worked on it. I'm not damn sure. Like yeah. So I think so. Somebody know the Linux kind of stuff here.
Little bit, not much, because I have
Oh, I
used
don't
in
know.
college days.
Okay, okay, okay. As part
Yeah,
of
I have
your
used in college time. That's it.
okay. That is the load. Okay. Okay, that's fine. So just you need to remember like this: bootstrap class loader, extension class loader, and system class loader. Anybody having any question, but definitely you need to remember because interview. See here, automatically 3 to 4 questions are getting covered here. Actually, what are the 3 to 4 questions? How exactly class path means how exactly the class path things are working in the background with the help of which kind of loader? With the help of application loader. How exactly all kind of extensions are being loading with the help of extension class loader. How exactly the rt.jar file is being loading with the help of bootstrap class loader. That's what 3 kind of class loaders are there. And one of the most
Lucky,
important. Yeah, yeah. Tell me.
Lucky, I want to ask a question. So in recent Java versions,
Mm-hmm.
so they have removed this extension folder path, I guess,
Mm.
right
Oh,
after the Java 8.
in Java 8. Okay, I'm not
After
damn sure.
Java 8.
I'm
Yes,
not
yes,
damn sure
yes.
about it.
So
They
is
have
there is
removed.
any change in the architecture after Java 8? That's what I want to ask.
Actually, I have not got chance to like look into it, and still I'm using Java 8 only as part of my system. If you see, so I have not observed even what kind of changes they have did. So most of the companies actually, this the reason means when I was learning, now I was using latest version of the Java. That point of time, Java 8 was latest, but again, even Java 14 is there. I'm still using the Java 8, so I'm not aware about if they have removed or they have not removed or what kind of architecture has been changed. So I'm still working on Java 8 only. Okay. So sorry, I don't have answer for this particular question. है ना? But if anybody having idea, they can let us know. Ria or Sweta, any idea about it?
Uh, Actually, I have to see in my book. Actually, it is. I think it is in the core Java book of Hari Krishna sir.
Hmm.
Sir also raised the same question. I
Hmm.
have to check. I have to check in that book once.
Okay, 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 okay. Okay, that's fine, no problem. So yeah, this was the important question. That's why I discussed here. I hope so you guys will able to also answer it. Okay. So there is one tag.
One question.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, as we see, like we have three class loader, like
Hmm.
bootstrap, then extension, then system or application class loader. Okay.
Hmm, hmm,
So
hmm.
in the internal working, as concern of the internal working, how this how this loader is interact with the system, like like which is the first class loader is interact in the system while
Hmm. Okay, okay. So actually, this is the part of your JVM architecture. Once we will go through the JVM architecture, now, so this is the one of the most important class. Like they having some sequence of the loaders. Like first of all, the bootstrap will work, then extension will work, with system application will work. This is the sequence actually in terms of the class loader. But how exactly those class loaders are working? Those comes under the JVM architecture. So once we will go through the JVM architecture, now there you will understand. Okay, how exactly first of all JVM is getting initialized. Okay, because JVM need to be initialized, then only the things are going to work out. And we need to remember like JVM is a platform dependent, right? So things are working like
Right.
this. So once I will get the chance to explain you the JVM architecture, but one of the most important thing, guys, if you are the first interview is the core Java interview, and if you will find out like they are asking about the JVM architecture. Means it's a one kind of very common question. You need to prepare
Hmm.
yourself, because once they are talking about the JVM architecture, once they are talking about the internal of the Java, and they can go so much deep dive. So in case of me, I went for so many interviews. Okay, out of means I can say only 10% interviews only they have asked about the JVM. They have asked about the class loaders. So it was Dell company actually. Dell is a product based company. I went there and they was digging a lot about the JVM. They was asking total core things only. They are not asking how it is request is being forwarded, what things are going on, but they each and every product based company as part of their first round itself, they're going to dig the very basic things only. Like the same thing Sweta asked, how exactly things are being initialized, how exactly memory. And one of the most important thing, what kind of memory allocated for what kind of variables. Like I was asking like a heap is for the object one, right? And we was talking
Yeah.
static is for the your method area, and we was talking about the local variables having the stacks. Even in stacks also, you are having different small areas, different kind of threads are being maintained. So those kind of questions need to be prepared in a very well way. So even for those particular questions, now we having some of the dedicated videos from the Durga sir, even from the Nagur Babu. They have explained so much good the JVM architecture. So once you will go through that those particular questions, now even we can work on this parallelly. So those having most of the visibility, we will get more visibility about it. And don't worry, guys. See,
Hmm.
nobody is going to ask you Java 9 or Java 11 questions, okay? Because as of now, people are not even aware about the Java 8 questions. So Shivam, your question is right. What kind of changes has been done? But yeah, situation is like as of now, people are not asking about how exactly things are being changed. Like if they really working for the product based company, that's fine. But yeah, as of now, everybody is talking about the core Java only, and that is still Java 8.
Hmm.
So have you went for the any interview recently?
No, not yet.
Anybody,
I was
Nana?
planning for
Uh-huh. Okay. When exactly you are planning?
okay. I was planning from the November 1st onwards. Whatever the interview I'm going to get,
Okay.
I will try for that.
Okay. And one more suggestion, guys, here. I always suggest you, whatever the study you did, if you have completed your core Java, na, just try to
Hmm.
look into the Naukri portal, apply for such kind of job where they have the requirement of core Java only. Whatever the technology you are completing, update that technology as part of your resume. Keep some experience, like 3 years, 3 years experience, 2 years experience, 1 year's experience. Keep matlab,
Okay.
in terms of resume only, not anywhere else, and go for
Okay.
interview. Okay, go for interview means
Okay.
nowadays telephonic interview only, right? Yeah, Skype interview. So what is going to be happen? Your skills is going to brush up. You will definitely get to know where you need to improve. Suppose if I'm saying ki Sweta have did the core Java, right? Now Sweta need to know how much she is good enough in core Java. She have gone through the interview questions also. Now she have told like I having 2 years of experience in core Java, and they have conducted some interviews and they're asking some particular question. So from their question, you will get to know how much do you know about that particular subject, even the Spring, even the Hibernate. I will tell you guys, one of the best thing, you need to much focus on the core Java than Spring. Forget about any other framework, forget about any other technology, because Spring Boot and microservice is the very next level. But if you're really good enough in core Java and Spring, that will be most helpful for you. Okay. Okay, let's proceed. So we having one tagline here, write once and run anywhere. So the same kind of tagline we usually see as part of the product, whatever available in market. Like we say, "Tandur tandurusti ki raksha karta hai life boy," right? They having some tagline. The same kind of tagline we having as part of the Java as well, right? Which is write once and run anywhere. So such kind of tagline. What exactly do you understand from this tagline? So the understanding is here, like your bytecode is getting generated. That bytecode is a platform independent, and there is no this one kind of intermediate code as well. So you need to remember some terminology also. If you see this particular line itself saying bytecode, first of all, okay. So it may call also the class file having the white code. Even it's also not at the intermediate code, okay. So like you need to know machine code is different, intermediate code is different, but bytecode, intermediate code, and the class file all are same. So dot class file having the bytecode is also known as the intermediate code. So some of the terminology need to know, otherwise some confusion is going to be happen. I hope so. You have means you are learning the things in Amirpet, and Amirpet things are being repeating again and again. So that is the best thing happening here. So the bytecode, the Java compiler convert your Java program into the class file, which is known as the bytecode, which is intermediate language, okay, between the source code and the machine code. The bytecode is not platform specific and can be executed at any computer. So what do you mean by this tagline? It mean by the bytecode only. Okay. Okay. What is the difference between the Java platform and the other platform? Whenever I'm talking about the Java platform, means software which are supporting to the Java. Okay. Like I was saying, the Java platform is nothing but the JVM. Okay, so even you can go for the more better understanding. Okay, other platform means maybe they are dependent to the
Hello,
hardware. Yeah, yeah. Tell me. Hello.
hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, I didn't hear a voice.
Uh,
Something for that.
वॉइस ब्रेकिंग
Right now is going. Yeah, voice breaking हो गया था
okay,
in
okay.
between. That's
Now,
why.
now you're able to hear me.
Yeah,
यस
yeah. Right.
Okay, okay, okay. Possibly network
Yes, 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 audible.
fluctuation. Yeah, network fluctuation possibly. Okay.
Maybe, maybe.
So yeah, so what I was saying, like a platform, I was talking about the Java platform, nothing but the virtual platform, which is software-based platform, but other platform may be the hardware-related platform as well. Okay. So guys, I just would like to ask some basic questions. So first of all, let me ask uh, Nana. Nana, uh, means how many countries are there as part of the JVM?
प्लीज आस्क अगेन
Yeah, yeah. How many kind of memories are there? Uh-huh. Can you please confirm me how many kind of memories are there in Java? Memory, yeah, yeah. Which variable is storing in which memory location? Are you able to hear me?
हेलो
Yeah, yeah. Are you able to hear me?
यस यस
Yeah, I'm saying which kind of variable is storing in which memory location? Do you aware about it?
static if static variable is there, that is stored at the class level,
Mm-hmm.
means, and non-static variables are memory created at the stack,
Mm-hmm. And
and
what about
local
objects?
variable.
Uh-huh.
I'm not confirmed that.
Okay, okay. Okay, anybody know here? Okay, that's fine. Ria?
Try for this.
Yeah, Shweta. Yeah, Shweta, please.
Yes, actually, it is having.
No, no. Go ahead, Riya. No, no worries.
Mhm.
Are you going or like? Hello.
Okay,
Okay,
sure.
if no one is
Okay,
talking, I'm
okay.
Anybody start, anybody start, okay?
Okay. Actually, stack memory and heap memory is there.
Mm-hmm.
Stack memory actually used for the primitive, like the primitive storing the primitive types, and heap memory is used for the objects, like the instances, like the non-static variables. The instance variables stored as a part of the object, and it is stored in the heap memory.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Shubham?
yeah, yeah. So we have this five memory regions in our JVM.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, the static members, whatever the static member inside our class is there, it is stored inside our method area.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever we create an object, so the object is stored in the heap area, and whatever the object related values are there, that is
Mm-hmm.
instance variables or methods. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this information is stored inside our heap area. So whenever we execute any method, so any local level variables, okay, so inside our main method or other method, so
Mm-hmm.
this local variable which is created inside this method is execute is its memory is created inside our stack area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so whenever this our stack area method execution is completed, it is also destroyed.
Right, right.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
so
And
these three main areas, and lastly counters for storing the
mm-hmm.
intermediate values, as you have said, and lastly our
Mm-hmm.
native stack area, which functions just like our method stack area, but it
Mm-hmm.
store the local variable values for our native methods.
Native. What do you mean by native methods?
So method which is written in the other means OS dependent language,
Mm-hmm.
and but its call is given through our Java program.
Perfectly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So anybody having any doubt here? I hope so. Subham have explained. Okay. So you need to be clear. Yeah, Shweta. Anything else you would like to add here?
No. Like Shivam is going and Ria was covering the all things, major points over here.
Okay, okay, okay.
Next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, no problem. Yeah. So guys, you need to
Yeah.
remember, okay, like the Subham explained, okay, you need to know like stack memories are getting deleted once their utilization is finishing, like you are creating the local variables. Okay, now I need to ask one question here. Can be the local variable private?
No.
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 No,
What?
no,
Okay, what should be the local variable data types? Matlab means not data type. I'm
default.
saying about the yeah default and
Modifier.
default
Public.
public. Is it fine? Public is it fine? Or there should be protected or private? What else should be there? Only
Mm,
two are acceptable. That is only the default and the public one. Okay, you cannot create the private variable. You just try to do it. You will get the compiler time error. Okay, so compiler will give you left and right as per Durga sir. You cannot have the private variable as part of your local methods. Okay, so constructor last time have you tried anyone the protected kind of stuff in terms of constructor? Constructor can be protected. Anybody tried? No.
No constructor.
No, constructor can be protected as well. So all
No.
kind of
Not
modifiers are
right.
applicable in terms of the constructor. Okay, class only can have the two data types, two modifiers. What are those two modifiers?
Public and default.
Perfect. Okay. Anybody know what do you mean by transient data type? Transient.
No.
no,
One of the
first
most
No.
yeah. So you have. I'm giving you one small task here. You need to do lots of things over the Google because once you will go through the question also, now you will not able to understand the
It's
answer as
transient is related to serialization, I guess, right?
we have the volatile as well. So what is the
Yeah,
difference
sorry,
between
sorry. Yeah,
volatile and
Krishna.
transient? No, I'm just
Yeah.
creating confusion. Okay, don't think like I'm talking like an interviewer. Okay, so that's what I'm
Oh
saying.
wow. I'm
Transient
getting
is used for something that we don't want to include in the serialization.
Right. So how is it? What can you please give me the real time scenario? Which one you don't want to include as part of your
Nana, can you
serialization?
repeat the what you said?
I said, can you please give me the real time scenario where you really don't want to store the value into the database or you don't want to
One
persist that particular value? Hmm? Guys,
Mm,
very basic example I want.
okay, sorry for that.
Uh-huh.
Since we have to send our data to over the network now,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes we don't want some kind of information, there's some kind of a password or a
Mm-hmm.
dedicated. It's um, what can say, which can be visible to other security issue like that. This
Mm-hmm.
data we don't want to send over the network, and
Mm-hmm.
then that data it's kept as a transient, means that will not be
Mm-hmm. Which,
participated in the.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Which kind of data? You are giving me definition. I want the the real like scenario where you really don't want to have. See, guys, have you seen that
It can be a
constructor can be
variable,
which variable? Guys, I just
any
shown you.
variable
I
string.
I just shown you like constructor can be public, private, and protected as well. So this is the private. You can have the protected also. Okay. Let me answer you. This is protected also possible. Protected constructor, not the method. The protected constructor is also possible, right? 2 minutes, I'm giving you the answer, right? Are you able to see protected constructor? Constructor can be all four kind of modifiers. This is one kind of interview
Yes.
question. Okay, now come to the Nana answer. So Nana, you given the perfect answer. That transient is such kind of variable which value you don't want to store as part of the persistent. Okay, but persistent means you don't want to store that particular field as part of your serialization process. Serialization means we are writing the state of the object uh, in the file. Why exactly we are writing the state of the object into the file? Because we really don't we cannot object existence available only in terms of Java, only in the JVM. Object really does not exist outside of the Java, right? And you cannot send the object over the network. So object cannot be transmit. Only what can be transmit? That their stage can be transmit. Okay, so I'm writing the object into the file that. But now comes to the transient. So it's a username and password. So I really don't want to store the password as part of my requirement. Okay, because username is fine, but I don't want to reveal my password. Okay, or password may be the encrypted format also. I don't want to give in any encryption format. So when you can give one of the best examples, suppose I having one application, my real time application, which has been developed as part of the means which has been tested as part of the SIT server, or maybe the application has been tested as part of UAT server. The UAT server password is different and UAT production password is different. So you don't want to transmit the password from development to the SIT to the UAT to the production. Now password field should be there, but there should not be any value. Maybe you are maintaining the same kind of username for all the environment, but definitely you may not have the same kind of password for all the environment, right? So in that case, you don't want to store the value. So you will go for transient. I hope so, guys. You got the answer of transient, right? Yes, you got the real time scenario.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So you can say like suppose I have one
Yes,
user
yes.
which is available in different environment, development, SIT, UAT, production, and we are maintaining the same user, but definitely there is a different kind of password for each and every environment. So I don't want to store the value of that particular password, so I will make it as a transient. The field will be there, but there will be no value for that particular field. Okay, now come to the volatile. Anybody having any input, then only I will answer. Volatile, it is related to multi-threading first of all. Yeah.
No, maybe you have to go like
Okay, okay. So first of
Well,
all,
to
yeah, tell me.
so to reflect our changes immediately after the modification, something like that. I'm not
Uh,
much of sure in that.
So actually, if you observe one thing, na, I told about the program counters, right? What exactly program counters are doing? They are storing the intermediate operation and they are tracking the next operation which need to be executed. This is the real use of program counter. So program
I
counters,
think
yeah, tell me. Mhm.
I'm not sure, but means in multi-threaded environment, one thread are doing some activity, but to process that activity, it may takes time. That effect may not come at the particular time before the another thread being
Mhm.
acted on that.
Mhm.
I think volatile
No,
keyword is
no,
used.
no. You're talking about the joint kind of stuff, or maybe you can simply leave over. Means there are two, three concepts are there. Leave about that. Yeah, I'm going to explain. No worries at all. So what I was see first of all, for understanding the volatile, you need to understand the PC program counter, which I was discussing. So program counter is nothing but the register, okay, which is made from the register. The register is one of the fastest memory which is available as part of your CPUs. Okay, means one of the fastest memory means fastest device is your CPU. In the CPU we having the registers. Then we having the cache. So they are faster than cache. RAM is the one of the slowest component. Even RAM more than RAM. Hard disk is the one of the slowest components. So if you see, suppose I will give you some real-time ideology. Okay, I'm saying if processor is running from 100% speed now, then their register which is having they may be having a little bit less speed, possibly 90 kilometer per hour. Then they having the cache that may be near to 80 kilometer per hour. Then we having the RAM which is 30 kilometer per hour. If I talk about the hard disk, that is near to 10 kilometer per hour. So now the problem is happening here. People are purchasing very high level processor, but definitely at the end they having the hard disk which is very slow enough. So nowadays SSD is coming into the picture. Okay, so which are more faster, more reliable, and more long life is there. So now their speed is bit equivalent to the RAM. So even you're not using that much high level of RAM, like I'm not using 16 GB of RAM, but still my processor means my RAM and hard disk speed is little bit sync. Okay, and now people are increasing the cache memory also, number of registers speed is also there. So anyhow, what I would like to say, register is storing the intermediate operation. Okay, and program counter is tracking what instruction need to be executed next. Now volatile is totally opposite about it. Okay, so when we talk about the multi-threaded environment, now controls are being transferred. Suppose you are working in a morning shift, somebody is coming in evening shift, you are giving the handover. So the morning person giving handover to the afternoon person giving handover to the evening person. The in terms of volatile is totally different. What is happening is there is no handover concept in terms of volatile. So there is no intermediate operation. There is nothing, interaction is not happening between the thread. So I'm saying, suppose Nana is working morning shift, Ria is working afternoon shift, Sweta is working night shift. So those people are giving handover to each another, and like this communication is going on. But now, if I talk about the volatile, they are not giving handover. They are not talking to each other. What exactly Nana is going to do? Nana is going to update into the SharePoint. So in update is available into the SharePoint. SharePoint, nothing. I'm talking about the main memory. So just for giving you the ideology about the volatile, it's like operations are going to be happen from the main memory. It is not going to be happen from the intermediate operation. There is no thread communication is going to be happen. So whenever you want such kind of condition where operations are not going to be performed intermediate, where handover kind of concept should not be there, where interaction kind of concept should not be there, all the operations should be performed directly through the main memory, then only you will go for volatile. So if you will read, if you go to Dana, if you read the volatile, now you will have lots of mashup in your mind. What exactly he would like to say, and in the end, you will understand he's talking about the main memory. So that's why I've given you the real time scenario. Like in a support, morning shift, afternoon shift, evening shift are there. You are giving the handover. The same kind of thing is happening in terms of thread. Like join is there, yield is there, okay, wait is there. So all those